History repeats itself. It fails to die. You are now tuned into But What Is Life podcast, the ride to relax, relate, and release into reality where things get fun, real, and the advice is unsolicited. And release into another episode of But What Is Life. How y'all doing today? I hope y'all doing good. Let me just say I am so excited about today's episode because I got confirmation this morning that I done hit the nail on the head, baby. Hit the nail on the head. So I'm excited. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So today's episode is all about love languages. What y'all know about that? And I was actually inspired by a conversation that I was having with a friend and how I had taken it before but couldn't remember what my results were. So I was just like, okay, we gonna go ahead and do that, and we gonna see what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I decided to do the test the other day, and it was just like a light bulb went off. FYI, all of these episodes so far on But What Is Life are all feeling based. Like, I have to feel it in my spirit to actually do it, because nothing is forced. And if I was to force it, I wouldn't be able to do it. So like I said, spirit moves me on what to talk about. And I don't know who need to hear this, but baby, this is for you. And if y'all are just tuning in today, on today's episode, you haven't been here before, welcome. To my returning listeners, thank you, I love you. But just so y'all know, I will be abbreviating But What Is Life, because sometimes it's just too much to say. So I will be referring it to B Will, but B Will is now on Twitter. Okay, we on Twitter and we popping. Okay, well, we not popping yet, but you know, we get in there. Sis is over here engaging. Okay, she's over here engaging. So make sure y'all follow B Will Podcast and engage with me on Twitter about these episodes, or whatever I may be rambling about that day, or even if you just want to say what's up to your girl. You know what I'm talking about? But just so you know, the links for the But What Is Life podcast Twitter page will be in the description of this episode, and it'll also be in the general podcast description as well. I don't believe everybody is living under a rock and knows that love language is a thing. Even if you don't know how many there are or what they are called, if this is your first time hearing about love languages, add me at B Will Podcast on Twitter. For those who may not know, there are 5 love languages that consist of words of affirmation, quality time, physical touch, acts of service, and receiving gifts. And there's these different tests that you can actually take little quizzes to figure out what your primary love language is, and then it'll also give you like the percentage in order of what comes next as far as the 5 love languages. So basically with the quizzes, the questions are the same, but for a different type of relationship. So they have the couples quiz, which is self-explanatory. It tells you what's more meaningful to you within a romantic partnership. But then you can do the singles quiz, where that's based around friendships, families, and like dating interests. Then you have the teens quiz, which is basically the same. And then The last quiz was the children's quiz that I'm actually excited to do with my son so I can connect with him through his love language and see how closer our bond gets and how it changes the dynamic of our relationship for the better. That is like so exciting to me. But I will be sure to do an episode all about single parenting and including the test results and the changes I see within me and my son's relationship, if y'all are interested in that. But moving right along, so I did the couples and the singles quiz. When my husband get here, I'll be prepared and have a guide pretty much for him to follow. But I thought it was also important to do it for my family and friends because those are important relationships that you have to nurture as well. I've already shared my results with 2 of my friends, but I take that back. No, this morning, I was being intentional with 2 other friends of mine this morning, and I actually told them what my primary love language was, like within friendships or whatever. But I didn't go down the list and all of that. But that was just an organic conversation that just kind of happened. But anyway, I will eventually share like with my mom and like all my other friends and just the people that's within my soul tribe, because this is the work that I'm doing to tap into being intentional with my circle. So if you are on the same page, I encourage you to do the same with your people. When I was looking through between the 2 different quizzes, well, the romantic partnership quiz and then the platonic partnership quiz, my results didn't waver much because my top 3 stayed my top 3. The order was just switched around depending on whether it was romantic or platonic partnerships. So for my romantic partnership, I had acts of service at 33% being my primary. Then following was words of affirmation, which was 27%. Quality time, which was 20%, receiving gifts 13%, physical touch 7%. And then in my platonic partnership results, my primary love language is words of affirmation at 33%, quality time at 27%, acts of service at 20%, and receiving gifts and physical touch both came in at 10%. Now let's break this down. For the romantic perspective, acts of service coming in at 33% and being my primary love language makes sense to me. And if you already know, then you know I got to do a shameless plug of episode 5, Daddy Issues, My Dad Wasn't There. If you haven't checked out that episode, check it out after you finish this one. But acts of service is obviously the most important for me because my expectation of a man showing up without me asking of him is basically non-existent, because no man of my past that really meant something to me showed me otherwise. If I was to take it back just a little to the time of my life where my son's father and I were together, we were both ignorant to what our love languages were, but I actually knew what I wanted because it was a feeling that I had. But I would admit that I didn't do a good job at conveying and articulating the message to him. I just didn't know how. With time that has passed, I don't know if I was to tell him this today, if it would make sense, though, because he acts as if my thought process is impractical or nonsense. However, I have now just came to the understanding with myself that we just don't operate on the same frequency, and we never have, pretty much. But moving right along. Words of affirmation was at 27%, and I'm that person that, although majority of the time actions can speak louder than words, you have to reassure me with your words, and they have to match with your actions, because sometimes actions can be misconstrued, especially with these niggas, y'all. Honey, a nigga will spend time and do shit that add up to a perfect 10. Maybe not so much a perfect 10. Let's just settle for a number 8 score in the actions department. With you. But he be spreading a message around town to everybody else that you are the ex, baby. Like, I just don't understand. And it's so crazy that I'm saying this, because sis just got word on a situation where basically this happened. And it's just like, we're not even gonna get into that. We're not gonna get into that. Okay? But I said in episode 3, sexuality with Britt, the type of niggas that exude this behavior are portable. Therefore, since you are not the source of power, y'all are disconnected and aimlessly bouncing around, trying to plug in wherever you fit in at the time. And let me just let y'all know, if that's the type of nigga you are, please stay away from me, baby, okay? Stay away. Moving on to 20% of quality time. So, with this being the 3rd place winner, because after you pass the first 2 levels of showing up and saying what you mean and meaning what you say, baby, I want your time. I mean, who doesn't? Like, if a man is showing you and he's also telling you, and that it match up, it all makes sense, and you can tell that it's genuine, baby, please, we need to spend time at this point. Like, pull down on me. Pull down on me, because we got some learning to do. I feel you can learn things by what someone shares through actually communicating with you, but that non-verbal communication, I have to see with my own 2 eyes, and that will connect me to that soul of yours, okay? It will connect me to the soul, because your mouth and what you're actually doing tells a story, but that body language, gestures, and faces you be making when we communicating with each other, that's literally like on a whole nother level. And it tells you something that maybe the person that you're talking to may not want to say because they're not comfortable saying it, or whatever the case may be. But just know, Donnie, she's going to figure it out, though, because I love to analyze you, okay? And then that just gets me in the mood to do things that I just cannot do over the phone, if you know what I'm saying. So, receiving gifts coming in at 13%. The 4th runner-up. Let me just say, I'm not good at receiving gifts. I'm not. I think it has something to do with me not being accustomed to receiving gifts as a child, especially from a man in my life. So, it's a squeamish feeling that I get, because it makes me feel like I'm a charity case. And that a man thinks I need him to give me things. I don't know. Call me crazy, whatever you want to say. I don't know. It just does not make me feel it. In the past, it did not make me feel good. And trust me, I know it's a daddy issue that I have to work on, because I wasn't used to my dad doing anything because he wanted to do so. So when it comes to just a random man trying to do something for me, I don't expect that from him either. You know what I'm saying? And I know there is no correlation between a man doing something he wants to do and me taking care of myself, but that will be something I will patiently wait to correct until my man gets here. Because I understand within my journey, there's things that will come up where I will notice what I do and the probable cause of me doing what I do. But depending on that aspect of my life, I can't necessarily work on it if I don't have the other puzzle piece to work on it with. So when it comes to different things with men, like just how I react to things or whatever the case may be, just that interaction with a man, I have to wait till my man get here in order to do that. But I'm doing the prerequisite work by being aware and preparing myself for when that time comes and knowing what I need to do. Don't get me wrong, I will appreciate a gift from a man and being giddy, especially if there was a lot of thought put into the gift, but that's not how it's expressed, sorta, kinda. Of course, it'll be a thank you and like a smile and whatnot, but it's a mental battle for me of, so why he get me this? Or I hope he don't think I need anything from him. Or just he think he's slick, what he want from me? You know what I'm saying? It's just like I can't accept something from a man without expecting him wanting something in return. But like I said, we gonna work on that, okay? Because I know I can be mental at times and blow the moment. But this is me just being transparent and doing the work. So if anyone listening is the same way when it comes to men and gifts and stuff like that, if you have a man in your life right now that is doing this stuff for you, correct that shit, please. Because if you can see it within yourself and be like, I don't like that, and you're willing to do the work to change it, that can make you and that man in your life's future that much better. Just because, of course, that's not something that you can control based off of whatever happened in your childhood. But if you grown and you trying to figure out life for yourself, it's your job and your responsibility to correct those things that are not right and be a better version of yourself every single day. And that's on period. I'm holding myself accountable. Therefore, I'm also holding you accountable. So if you hold yourself accountable, in the future, you can accept without second guessing the act until that person proves otherwise why you shouldn't. So let's grow together, baby. Let's grow together. Now to the fifth and last love language for the romantic partnership is physical touch, which is at an all-time low of 7%. Let me just say this. I don't consider this to be the sex life category in a relationship. I honestly take it just as a non-sexual touch. I can be that clingy girlfriend and like want to be around you all the time, but that does not necessarily mean that I literally want to cling to a man's coattail. Don't get me wrong. Please don't misconstrue my words. From past experience, I didn't understand the point of just touching a touch. I just didn't understand it For me, it was a thing where it was like, you stay over there, I stay over here. As long as we in the same room, that's intimate enough for me, okay? I remember when I was with my son's father, and he would try to hold me to sleep at night. And I will be so fucking irritated. Like, nigga, if you don't get off of me, it is too hot for all that shit. Like, the most I wanted to do that I had to do every night with him, it was so crazy, is we face in opposite directions. So I could lay my back against his. It was comfortable to me, but at the same time, it wasn't so much of, ooh, I'm touching him, I just want to be close to him. It wasn't a thing like that. It was just comfortable. Now, that's not to say that I don't want to be touched at all, or that somebody couldn't possibly change that for me, because you never know. If my husband do it in a way that I long for his touch, just because he is the right person, we never know until that comes. But until then, the moral of the story is, don't fucking touch me, period. For the platonic results, my primary love language at 33% is words of affirmation. Affirm me, baby. If you give me encouraging words or assure me that you appreciate me as a person, that you value in your life, that means a lot to me. Like, I can't even front. Like, that means more than anything. I don't consider myself a high maintenance friend or family member, right? I don't need you to talk to me all the time, or I don't need to be around you and in your face all the time either. But if you assure me where I stand in your life, that's more meaningful. It is. Because I'm just not that person where I just got to be around somebody all the time. I enjoy my alone time. I really do. I enjoy being by myself. I really think that I enjoy it a little bit too much. Too much. But anyway, I believe that in order to really make a relationship work, you have to spend 27% on my end of quality time with a friend or a family member, because the energy can be 1,000 on the phone, but to know when you link up with that person, it will be beyond that, just because you are creating those memories by being in each other's presence. And last night with my friends, my two really good friends that I've known since high school, like, we don't talk all the time on the phone. It's one of those things where what's understood don't need to be explained, but we also understand that we have to do better and not be so content and complacent in the fact that we don't talk to each other often. And knowing that when something comes up, we think of each other, or if we want to link, we make it happen. Being intentional with each other is definitely important at this time, just where we are in age and life and things that are just going on. And I really realized that last night, even though I knew this before, but being with them, oh my God, it was just that feeling like you don't want to leave, like you just can stay there and just talk forever. Yes, I love that. And I love that I have that with my friends, all my friends. No matter how much time goes past, when I link with my friends, the people that's really in my corner, the people that really fuck with me and I fuck with them, it feel like I was just with them the day before. You know what I'm saying? It feels like no time has passed, and I love that, because it just hits different when you are in each other's presence. But I also feel that me living away from home and my friends and family, that also makes me appreciate it that much more, where I can be aware of what's going on and do the work and act on it and correct what I want to correct and cultivate with my friends what I want our relationship to be. And me and my friends, we all on the same page. So that's what I prayed for, honey. And it's happening. And I'm grateful. But I can honestly say, since I've been home, the quality time that I have spent with my friends and family that I don't get to see often has warmed my little heart so much. I'm so excited with this moment of the last 3 weeks. I have just really been enjoying myself, and it feels so good to be around them and be in the flesh with them, because it's just a whole different vibe from just talking on the phone or texting or whatever. But moving right along. So I don't like to ask people for stuff. Let me repeat that again. I do not like asking people for stuff, because I like to pride myself on doing what needs to be done, because I don't like the idea of having to pay a nigga back, okay? Especially because you know how the saying goes, if you want something done right, do it your damn self. So I got a 20% of acts of service being third when it comes to my soul tribe, friends and family, all that good jazz. But I understand that it's inevitable to sometimes need help. So the few times I do reach out for one of my people to help pull me up, it means everything to me, because I know I don't ask for much a lot, because I don't like to. And that's just pretty much it on that. Self-explanatory. Boom. So we down to the last 2 love languages. In order are receiving gifts and then physical touch last, but they are both at 10%. When it comes to receiving gifts, or a friend or family member paying for something for me, I get squeamish like I do like with guys, but it's a little different. It's not so much that I don't want what they're giving. It just gives me a feeling that I owe them, and I hate that. The fact that we literally just talked about this in acts of service right before this. Like, I don't like the feeling that I owe somebody. I just don't like that. I don't like it at all. But this is something that I'm actually excited to explore, though, within my relationships, because I really want to be so intentional with my people that I give them just because gifts. I always find myself thinking about the people in my corner, and if they would like the little thoughtful things I think about, whether it's a random meaningful text message, buying them something that I saw, or getting an idea of a gift from like a movie or something. That's my ultimate favorite. Like when something inspires me that I see, whether it's online or in a movie, or somebody just telling me a story about somebody they know and what a loved one for that person did for them, it just gets my gears turning, and it'd be like, I want to do that, because I just want to be that person to do that. Like, that makes me feel good, to make other people feel good, like the people that I care about. Because baby, if I don't give a fuck about you, fuck you and your feelings on the ground you walk on. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, in my growth, I'm not harboring ill feelings towards anybody. It is what it is sometimes. If the energy is fuck you, it's fuck you, baby. Okay? Fuck you. But we're moving along, because we're not focusing on the negatives. Not today. Now, in the past, I haven't acted on spending money because I'm just frugal friend, period. I'm not ashamed. I'm not embarrassed. Baby, I'm actually proud that I can hold on to a coin. Proud. Say that loud and proud. But receiving and giving gifts is something I want to normalize in my platonic relationships. There's not so much to say about physical touch with platonic relationships, because for me, it's kind of like, if I don't really care for a man to just be touching me just to touch me, I don't really need that outside of that from anybody else neither. I was honestly surprised at the percentage and the fact that it was higher in platonic partnerships, because me and my friends don't really touch unless we're hugging. You know what I'm saying? But wait, that just made me think. Maybe that's actually a thing. Like it's a good thing, because one thing I have noticed lately that I don't remember too much of when I was younger is when I'm laughing with a friend now, like I'll reach out and do the little playful hit. Y'all know what I'm talking about? And I think when that changed is, and I think I know when that changed. So my friend Britt that was on the podcast with me, right? On episode 3. I met her almost 3 years ago. And I noticed immediately that she touches a lot. It's not anything threatening or too much where it's just like, girl, what are you doing? It's nothing like that. It was just something that I noticed, because every time she would just randomly touch me, I would be alert, because it used to just make me think back to my sister and how my sister kind of does the same thing. Like when it be me and my cousins and we talking and laughing and stuff, if they say something smart, she'll do the playful hit or whatever the case may be. Like it will bring me to that. So that's what I mean by I was like alert when she would do it. And to be honest, I really think that it rubbed off on me in a way of endearment. You know what I'm saying? A way that I can make this make sense is, say for instance, Britt is telling me something serious, right? What I notice is, like, she would hold on to my arm or something. Like, she would, like, whether it be both arms, one arm, like a shoulder or something, like, she would, like, hold on. And, like, she was holding on. It is like she does this every time. No matter if it's a serious conversation, we laughing and joking. Of course, the touch is different, but I noticed when she's talking about something serious and we are both in each other's presence, she will really hold on to me, right? And I don't know how, but when she does that, it's a feeling of she's really like confiding in me, and it really pulls me in to really pay attention to what she's saying. I don't really know how to explain it, but I definitely have to agree that just exploring my thought process just now, I would definitely have to agree that non-sexual physical touch can heighten a moment. For instance, when I play hit my friends or whatever, when we are laughing or whatever, it's a feeling of really being intimately connected in a moment in a non-sexual way, if that makes sense. I don't know. It really does feel like it heightens the moment. If we take this a little deeper, it's a way to make a memory more memorable just because you remember that person's touch. Do that make sense? Am I making sense, y'all? Please let me know. Please. I want to engage, okay? Hit me up on Twitter or hit me up on the email if that makes sense. Because that is really starting to make sense to me now. I never really thought about that. And now that I think about it, when I was just out with my friend the other day, and it was cold, of course, we're up north. It was cold, and we were walking from the car to the place that we were going, and it was just like, oh my God, it is so cold. So I was like, you know what? We got each other, because I had told her, I was like, if you don't leave that coat in the car, because I knew she was not gonna want to hold it when we got inside the place. So it's like, leave that coat in the car. And I was like, we got each other. And I just grabbed onto her arm, and I don't know, like maybe it just sounds like I'm just making this shit up, or like I'm geeking in the moment, but I don't know. Like, I really do feel like it made that moment of spending time with her that more meaningful and memorable. We were holding on to each other, making sure each other was warm in that moment. Like, I don't know. I just love my people. I really do. I really do. I love this is really just making me think about everybody, and just embracing my friends last night, and just talking, and oh my God, I love my people. That really does make sense to me now that I'm saying that out loud. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Like I said, on my Twitter feed at BWIL Podcast. That is BWIL Podcast. And you can also send me one of your experiences that makes that logical for you, as far as like the touch and all that, or anything that I said in this episode today, to my email, butwhatislifepodcast@gmail.com. Both links will be in the description of this episode, and also in the general description of the podcast, wherever you are listening from. I'm eager to know what y'all love languages are. So send me the results, please. But I do want to thank all of my listeners for listening today. And if no one told you today that they love you, I want to be the first. I love you, and I will catch you in my next episode. But until the next episode, relax, relate, and release into yours and your loved ones' love languages.